Alright, Scandinavia. That's better than Islands, I think. We've got NaBs versus SY, sort of. It's only a 3v3 and one of the players is non-SY. We did watch a game earlier where Miguel joined the SY team in a 4v4. That game also featured Paladin, so that made it a bit more of an authentic SY team. This is DS and Lix. Again, I'm not entirely sure who DS is, whether he has a more known by name. He's playing a lot with the SY guys and ran rated games, practice games, etc. lately. But I don't know whether he really be considered part of their starting four just yet. Lix, very strong, obviously. And once again, Miguel acting as kind of practice for when they're playing with Degao and having to communicate with a Brazilian guy, I guess. Let's just briefly take a look at where the two teams are laid out on this map. It's kind of top versus bottom. Lix on the left flank as Byzantines in the red. In the pockets, we've got Miguel in the green as Frank's pocket on this kind of map. Pretty nice, although not able to run riot with knights as much as you could on Arabia, potentially because Scandinavia is heavily forested and could sometimes be pretty wallable, except when the patches of ice get in the way and completely interfere with your building or walling plans. On the right hand flank, DS in the yellow is Japanese flank. Japanese, pretty nice flank sieve to have, and on a map like this as well, if they can secure the fishing as well, that would be really nice with Japanese fishing ships. He's probably going to be responsible for going water on this side as well. In fact, we'll probably see both teams kind of fighting it out on the water on either flank, because it is a situation where Scandinavia can work out one of two ways. The teams can be kind of laid out, if you look at the minimap now, they can be laid out like that, so that the water is contested on both sides, or they can be kind of have safe back fishing for each team, and in that case you sometimes see teams sneaking a dock onto the enemy water, but it's generally not a full contest. Whereas this kind of map, that's likely to happen. The left hand, the water is going to be stronger for the SY and no, it's not. It's going to be stronger for the NaBs team because they have two players kind of close to it versus the one for SY. And that's kind of mirrored on the opposite side, where green and yellow can access this water, but only really teal on this side, who's quite far away as well. Talking of teal, that's Spaden for NaBs on the right hand side, right hand flank, playing Byzantines. So Byzantines, the flank on opposite sides. Pocket for NaBs is Loiser, Frank's pocket, so we've got mirrored Frank's pockets going up against each other in Loiser and Miguel. Miguel's someone who does really well with the kind of mass knight, cavalier, mass paladin play. I remember him playing so strong in those exhibition games between Brazil and China that were played about 2 months back for $400, was it? I casted the Ghost Lake game then, and Miguel was so good in that game, just massing so many paladins. Really strong performance by him back then. And then Zoppi, left flank, the NaBs in blue, playing as the Japanese. So we've got Byzantines v Japanese on each flank, and Frank's pocket in for both teams. Lawyers are going with a dock in a nice spot. Miguel basically mirrored play, doing his dock directly in the northern corner and Loiser in the southern corner. So we're basically going to have both teams with two players with a dock on one side and one player with a dock on the other side. So theoretically, there's kind of a weak side for the water for each team, and they should lose out. But if the player who is the only one with access to water, a side of water on his team, manages to win that, perhaps because only one player on the enemy team on that side goes for the water, then that will work as out being a big advantage for them, because they'll be able to take away the enemy fish boom, and then the other side will have like uncontested fish boom as well if the two of them manage to clear out the one. They are Rex. Yes, these were played on the 7th of June, I think. As I mentioned earlier, SY played an absolute ton of games on that day in practice, with a kind of rotating lineup of players turning up during the game. They played 6, 7, 8 games against VNS, and then played a bunch against NaBs as well. And then NaBs played some more against bots, as we've seen. So there's actually been quite a lot of practicing going on for the Clan Masters, as you'd expect, really. A tournament of this size, lots of prize money up for grabs. One of the biggest events we've had in AOC for quite a long time, probably since the Nations Cup last year, when we're talking about team game events. And I guess it's the biggest event since WIC for War is Coming, for teams that aren't kind of national teams, so for clans and just random groups of players teaming together rather than organising themselves according to nationality. Although there are some teams in this tournament that are basically national teams, along with interesting developments like SY, which has basically been China A, adding Dagao to their ranks, and then kind of Tato, the Spanish player, joining what is otherwise just a pure CZ Czech Republic team. Scout walled in and is about to be killed off here. Nice play by Spaden there. With 2 villagers, should be able to kill off DS's scout. Those are Linville, so that's fine. Any flanks drushing in addition to dropping those docks and doing some fishing. Let's see. Looks like just full wall off on the left by Zuppy. And advancing to the feudal age at a good time. He's probably going to grush water against Licks, who should do the same. They're basically advancing at identical times. Oh, he's just saying dumb. What's dumb? I think what's going on here is maybe they were on TeamSpeak and Loiza was the one without a mic or something. I don't know. Anyway. Both players here adding docks, one for Licks there, another forward one, and Zuppy's already on 2, about to be on a 3rd, so we'll see a full grush ward there. Right hand side, Spaden is still in the Dark Age and doesn't look like he's going to be thinking about grushing at all. DS went up fast, adding extra docks as well, so he's going to grush. Second dock for Miguel. Licks says FU. Good job.
Oh, thank you, you wonderful man.
I've just heard a notification saying that we got either a subscription or a donation or something like that, but I can't see what it was, but I'm just going to have to say thank you, whatever it was. It is appreciated by all of Vubly's staff. But obviously it doesn't go to us, it goes into a communal pot for creating tournaments and the like down the road. Yeah, pretty much walling off going on everywhere here actually. Barracks did come up for Loiza, and he's going up with 27 bills plus 7 fishing ships, so he looks in good shape to start pumping knights when he does the Castle Age. When he does the Castle Age upgrade and do FC Knights, try and support one of his flanks or go and raid the opposing pocket. Miguel should do the same. And if Loiza keeps his fish boom because Zuppy doesn't crumble there, and if Miguel keeps his fishing because DS doesn't crumble there, then we should see both players being able to add quite a lot of knights as Frank's pocket. With a very good eco supplemented by a lot of fishing ships, and then still boom up through the game quite nicely as well. Following all these X's here, but it's not immediately obvious what they all mean without access to probably the players being on TeamSpeak as well. NaBs are always on TeamSpeak with their own channel. T90 goes, you're welcome, SMB. I don't know what that was. I'll have to check after the game. Mingli. Okay, 2 stables for Loiza, so double stable knights play from the pocket. Always love to see that. Always love aggression from the start of Castle Age. Is Miguel going to do the same? There's a stable. There it is. 2 stables as well. In a 3v3, it's really important actually to quite often you see, I guess, at higher levels, like one stable is generally a bit more common into a mini boom, like mini boom, and then into knights from a lot of stables. But that's in a 4v4, I'm saying. But then in a 3v3, with your need to support both flanks, it kind of becomes more important to have a heavier military presence and go-to stables. And obviously, as I was saying, with the fishing ships in play, it becomes easier to do that. Left-hand side, then we see Zupi and Lix matched up in a feudal water war. Both players remaining in feudal age for now. Zupi seems to have a lot more galleys on the field. Lix just with these two sailing on by. Zupi actually patrolling outside Lix's docks. And Lix does have some galleys saved up in it there, but only one, and he's not producing anymore. Zupi has a lot more galleys out, and it feels like Lix has already kind of given up on that. He's sending. We saw those two galleys go flying past the docks of Zupi. They're just trying to head down towards Loiza, where they will hopefully get some kills on these unprotected fishing ships. But Zupi's hot on his heels and should be able to stop that from happening and keep Loiza's fish boom alive. On the right hand side, Miguel has continued to add a lot of fishing ships along with DS because Spaden hasn't really managed to contest the water at all up to now, but he is on the way to the Castle Age at least, whereas his direct opponent on the water, DS, is not, but Miguel in the back is up to Castle, of course. Obviously FC just the pocket. Zupi says he doesn't know where to go with the knights, but obviously they're not his knights. He's probably at Loiza was probably asking him, where should my knights go, and Zupi doesn't really know. The answer is that the whole map is basically walled off. This is oh, there's a hole. Let's look from Miguel's point of view. Does he see that? No, he doesn't. He's kind of assuming, taking liberties there. That could be a vulnerability. But yeah, players really actually taking this seriously. This is full-on tournament mode with the walling that we're seeing here. Everybody is walling off, and we've actually seen a lot of stone walls come out from some players as well. So quite a closed-off game that we're seeing. NaBs have completely won the water on the left-hand side. Spaden has done FC and now doing fire ships, Byzantines, and he should be able to take the water against DS that way. But Miguel is adding in some fire ships to help out, and Spaden probably won't be able to take back the water from the SY plus Miguel team alone, considering Miguel is just helping out with those few fires to augment the galleys that are coming out from DS. Zupi, though, is the main Grush player for NaBs, has managed to click up to the Castle Age, whereas DS has not done the same for SY. His economy is a bit out of whack, actually. Look at this, 900 wood and 1,000 food, but no gold. Interesting. He could have clicked up a hell of a long time ago, but he's only just finished that market. We just saw that finishing. There's the village that built it. Build a little bit off here, but fortunately Miguel is helping him out enough that he's not going to get completely pushed off the water by Spaden just yet, although only 2 fire ships from Miguel there, kind of in the back, and Spaden with a lot of fire ships coming out now. Maybe he'll be able to make some headway there after all, because Miguel isn't exactly spamming fire ships in support of DS. It's just the odd 1 or 2 now. It would though help if Spaden was a little bit more grouped up and didn't have some of these fire ships idle in the back. First knights coming out for both players, starting to move out across the map. Looks like Loiza with a lot more, so Miguel will be pushed back. Really, with that double stable knight play, I don't think either player is going to be able to achieve too much with it, because everybody's pretty much walled off, apart from Miguel, obviously, because of that hole. And wonder if that's where Loiser crept round, although that looks like a dead knight from Miguel rather than from Loiser. Because Loiser managed to get 2 knights into Miguel's base. He's probably wondering how that happened, but he does see the hole now. He should have noticed it at least. But Miguel is certainly the player who's playing the most open on the map, which doesn't really say much because the sum total of all of the tiles that provide entry to his base is about 5 or 6, and that's about to be diminished. So really the only opening is on this right hand side up here, unless those knights are going to slip through a hole there. Maybe is there a hole? Yeah, there is. Okay. But yeah, Miguel's the one who's playing the most open, and he's not very open at all, so we're not going to see too much happening on the land. Right hand side, Spaden is really pushing against DS now. Looks like DS is ready to remove... Well, sorry, Spaden is ready to remove DS from the water. DS getting War Galley, but maybe a bit too late. He's certainly going to lose all of his fishing ships here, may lose most of his galleys before that War Galley kicks in, and in small numbers the fire ships reign supreme there. As I said, Zuppi completely in control on the left hand side, even done a transport ship to move further forward, added an extra dock just for fishing's sake, but that transport won't allow him to go behind the walls of Lix. He's re-walled here, having lost the water. Maybe that was a reaction to Zuppi winning the water, and perhaps he saw the transport too, or houses or something, was aware that Zuppi had gone around his wall, but that was obviously broken, so re-wall behind. Loiser with some knights into DS's base, picking up a fair number of villager kills here. 1, 2, 3, 4 at least, maybe. No, I don't think that there's a 5th one in that number, but that's pretty nice considering DS was kind of behind in this game. I'm just looking at his villager numbers. It's really far behind, actually. Don't really get how he's got that far behind him, because 41 units down. I think Loiser must have raided him more than I realised here. Although where's the hole that he's getting in through? That's the question. Must have been round the back, because I think DS left this open for a while with the assumption that Miguel would be able to protect him, but it hasn't quite paid off. I mean, a lot of the KD that he's got comes from the water more than but he's very far behind on villagers. Zuppi's been on 3 TCs now, which explains why he's stretched ahead. I don't think DS has lost like 15 villagers or 20 villagers or something to explain that difference between him and Zuppi. I think it's the later Castle Age time, and then a little bit of raiding. So Zuppi's had 3 TCs working longer, and he's also had more fish working for longer now that DS basically lost everything that he had on the water. I think DS has been so concentrated on defending on land that he's been unable to... so focused on defending on the water that he's been able to respond correctly, really, to Loiser getting into his base. Miguel needs to help out. He's now attacking Loiser a bit. There's a 1 tile hold here, but there are plenty of TCs there. Just +1 armor done, so not those knights not being terribly tanky here, and not picking up more than a few kills against Loiser, who will snuff out this attack with knights of his own if they go to the right place. Go on, where you go? There we go. They turn back, and they will kill those knights. Although Miguel, with just 2 knights inside Loiser's base, is picking up more villager kills than he has any right to at the moment. And monks coming out for Loiser, which should finally put an end to that. Seems that DS is... Wow, demo ship. I heard it somewhere. That sounded really loud in my headset. That's why I was like, wow. But it doesn't seem to have destroyed too many fire ships, although it's damaged them. There we go. Boom, 2 fire ships down. But Spaden has completely taken over the water on the right hand side. Unfortunately, he's not taking advantage of it with Fish Boom at the moment, but at least he's destroyed the fishing economy of 2 of the opposing players. So NaBs hold the water on both sides, which is pretty key. It kind of restricts the room that SY have to work with as well, as giving the fishing advantage to NaBs on both sides, and also kind of potentially interfere with an SY trade line later on, but we'll have to see about that. seems like the team wall. Okay, I wouldn't. Lix has walled off an impressive amount of the map here, and maybe he's going to continue it all the way to there. But there is still a little bit of a hole just now to really call it the team wall, although SY do seem to be laying claim to a lot of the map. And that's enabling Miguel to go on the offensive. He has clicked up to the Imperial Age. He's about 30 to 40% of the way there, getting iron casting on the way to make those fully upgraded Cast Age Knights. And this number of Knights probably take down that TC. Don't know how many Veils Lords he's got inside there. Let's take a look. But however, quite a few actually, and he's still creating. All of those could end up dying actually, but he's brought some knights home. Fewer knights than Miguel has here, but he is closer to his reinforcements, of course. And he might be able to take that fight, considering half of Miguel's knights are attacking the TC, and the TC fire for Loiser is also evening the fight. He's going to use that distraction to. He's going to repair. Yeah, he's going to repair the TC whilst that fight's ongoing, bringing in 3 more knights from here, and 1 or 2 more coming out of the stable as well, and he should take that fight against Miguel now. And Miguel retreats, but he's on 20 knights to just 11 of Loiser at the moment. And I spoke earlier about how well Miguel is able to flood Cavaliers and ultimately Paladins in the Imperial Age. It seems to be like his favourite thing to do when I've watched some of his games with Brazil. And he's preparing to do that now with Franks, who obviously have the best Cavaliers and the best Paladins.